There are two types of people who join professional bodies. Those that I call passive members, they expect to receive value from an organization. They judge them quite severely if they think they don't meet up their bar or their standard. And then there's the active member. And there's no question for me you get more value if you're an active member. If you've chosen a profession, I simply don't understand why you don't become an active member of a professional body that is preoccupied with the things that should preoccupy you as a professional. And so you could be a passive member at first, maybe to test the waters, but quickly jump in, is my advice, to get maximum value out of this. Professional bodies like CPRS offer a lot of things, like conferences and professional development locally and nationally. Those are obvious things of value to most people to keep up with trends. But you get so much more building a network, which is the reason people join, number one, is to build a network. If you're an active member, you get involved as a volunteer. You get to ask people to be your mentor. You allow yourself to reach out to other people. That's the real value of a professional connection. And I always refer to this as my second family because it is my chosen professional body. We as professionals approach what I call overwhelming trend or steady building trends. And we're speaking here about artificial intelligence. We missed the last one. We were slow to get on SEO as a trend, and we came up late. We have this tendency to watch things happen thinking, remember at first there were people saying social media, that's not going to last. That can't last. Well, it does, and it did. And so I think you called it AI, a trend in denial, and I think the advent of AI, number one, is scary. Number two, the industry is hyping the hell out of it with a lot of AI washing on their products, and when they're not really using AI, they're using something we've rated in the scale of my research in the middle, sort of automating some things. The if this, then that. There are lots of software tools that do if this, then that. People are calling it AI. It's not AI. It's very simple. Sending you a reminder that you have a meeting coming up in 5 minutes is hardly AI. It's a powerful office assistant and professional assistant, and there are sophisticated automation tools. But true AI, we're speaking here of things that Google is doing with their analytical works. Analyzing vast quantities of data is being done behind our back without us knowing about it. And this is the scary part of AI. So it is one trend I can't help but talk about, but it's at the intersection of another one that I'm particularly keen on, and that's ethics, and putting ethics always on top, always at the beginning of every major decision we do. And AI, the industry of AI has taken hold of this ethical issue. They're aware of the dangers of developing AI tools that are based in bias, based in all kinds of problems with ethical considerations or replicating things that are not diverse enough. They're aware of it. And the good thing is there's something called the Montreal Declaration that AI developers, software developers in academia have signed on to. It's a high-level charter that has 10 principles and 8 recommendations for developers in academia looking at this whole issue. That's encouraging. In PR, we're sleepwalking through it. A few of us are looking at the issue. I've done a study called Humans Still Needed, looking at the impact of AI on our skill set. In other words, what's going to replace my jobs or my task? And at the moment, it's not very much. In the future, it could be a little bit more. So this is one trend that I think is fundamental we need to watch. For me, it's always the question of when a decision that I'm facing troubles my head and my gut, I have to do a checklist of things to make sure that I'm approaching my decision with the right context and with the right imperative. So I look at the ethical guidelines, the principles that we've come up with, particularly as it applies to a PR decision, and I see which ones are relevant here. And once you identify those, then you can begin to narrow down what bothers me here. Is it a rational problem or is it an emotional problem, your head or your gut? And I look for the intersection of things where things will balance out. To me, that's got to be the right decision. If you've taken the prime directive, which is working in the public interest and working to preserve trust, as your two fundamental overriding concerns. So if you do that, I think you can approach any ethical decisions with some confidence.